Hello jammy gamers to another video about the three most important items you can get. It's going to be the forge, the workbench and the cement mixer. Now we'll start with the forge. I've got two here. I definitely recommend having at least two, maybe three on the go. And these are the ingredients you're going to need. Now stone is reasonably easy to get. We'll show you clay in a minute, but then let's go on to the bellows. Now if we search the bellows up here, you can see that there's two versions. One out of animal hide, and then the other one there out of leather. Now the wood is really self-explanatory, you know where to get wood, but the short pipes dismantle almost anything made out of metal and you get short pipes really quick and easy. Leather though, I'd recommend getting. Here is breaking up a sofa or a couch. Really easy to get that leather early game, any stage of the game, and it's so much easier than fighting dogs, especially if you're on a higher difficulty, and that just becomes almost like a death sentence, trying to fight off those sorts of animals. Now clay is going to be the second trickiest part, but once you know, you know. And the easiest way of doing it is finding these brown patches on the map. They're clay spots right at the surface of the map. You can see them in every single biome, so there's no real excuse to be short of clay, because digging up one of these patches, particularly the large ones, having a clay pit, is just going to fuel you for stacks and stacks of clay. Okay, so once you know, you know, and it's really not too tricky. But then popping back into the forge, what can you craft in here? So forged steel, super handy for anything late game. Forged iron for a handful of tools, and iron bars. Now iron bars are going to be a big part of an awful lot of your bases, and let's have a quick look at why. So here they have great structural integrity. You can stand on them for a good long while, but that's it. You can shoot through the bars. The only thing you can't do is throw explosives through or shoot rockets through, but crossbows, bows, and all the other ammunition types you can shoot through, so that's why it's so important. And steel there, I definitely recommend going straight to steel tools rather than forged iron. It is twice as expensive as iron, but it's so much better. You get a larger output, you can destroy doors and other things far more quickly, so go to steel. And then you've got the bullet casings and things. Now we'll do bullet cases another time, or maybe on a separate short or a separate video, so keep an eye out for that. Check out our other videos as well if you find this one helpful. But over on the right hand side there where I'm circling, that's where you're going to find the stash of materials that you've already smelted. If you break the forge, you're going to lose everything in your stash, so don't break it if you can help it, as well as the tools that are in the very top right hand there. So if you're going to dismantle it with a wrench, that's how you get your forge back, but you won't get the materials or the items back out, so be very careful, don't let zombies break them down. Okay, so that was the forge. Hopefully you found that interesting. There's a separate short. But let's move on to the workbench. Now the workbench is going to catapult you into the next age, the metal age really. So once you've got the forge, you can smelt iron and steel. What are you going to do with it? Well, it's the workbench. Now, it's going to cost 15 skill points to unlock, but I'd strongly recommend it as soon as you can. The workbench, you can find it in the world at some of the traders, and you can find it in some of the passing gases. But it's going to have to be the very large passing gas. It's not just the little one. So it's got to be a big one. Now, the mechanical parts are the hardest part to find, but the best way that I find is smashing these office chairs with a wrench. It has to be a wrench to dismantle them, otherwise you've got aircon units or the shopping carts, those sorts of things, and cars. They do drop mechanical parts, same as filing cabinets, but the office chairs are the best thing. Now the forged iron, you get from the forge. The claw hammer, I waited far too long to figure out that you can actually build forged iron tools in your inventory. Maybe that's just me being a noob, but yeah, I waited to scavenge them instead of just crafting them. So definitely craft your hammer. All the rest of the parts for the workbench are just really easy to find, but it takes up 2 blocks wide and it counts as 2 blocks tall, and really you can build a far wider variety of things in here, including all your mines. Your steel tools have to be in the workbench, you can't build those in your inventory. Other explosives can be built here, more complex items, things for your mini bike can be built here. And you can upgrade your auger and chainsaw blades here, which is super important. So if you've got a high miscellaneous crafting skill, you find a level 100 auger blade, take it with a repair kit to your workbench, craft it up, and you get a level 500. Massive jump. So well worth doing it. Then you can combine them there on the right hand side. Combine as many items as you can, and that will get you the best gear. So I like to buy stuff, loads of stuff from the trader, additional things that I've looted, some things that I've crafted, like I've crafted these pickaxes here. I'm crafting green, but you can combine them again and again to get your top level loot. Okay, all the while, whilst you're crafting, you'll be increasing the level. Whilst we're on combining, you can see I've got some magnum parts there. I've combined the magnum parts. Let's combine the magnum barrel. Now, as long as you're combining the highest level of all of your options, and just keep that one, you're not going to be wasting any levels. Depending on the durability as well, think of durability as its health points. So if you're going to be adding two really low durability items together, it's not going to be half as effective as repairing some of those items and then combining them afterwards. Now you see we've assembled the Magnum here. That will be on a separate menu, and that Magnum is now a far higher level than what we started because we've been combining the gear together. And there's the pickaxe again. We could do the pickaxe. And then this is my shotgun. My favourite gun is the shotgun with the slug rounds. And I've combined elements to get my 600. I've combined my sledgehammer and my hunting knife, my wrench. All of these items have been improved through combining on the workbench. So the workbench shouldn't be underrated. It's incredible. It's just finding what to build, how to build it, and combining all those bits together. So moving on to the cement mixer. Now the cement mixer is pretty easy to craft. The trickiest part will be the engine, which you're going to have to dismantle cars to find. Now don't stack them! Aha, like I tried there. I wanted to stack them to save space, but they don't stack. It didn't like it and it fell down. Other crafting ingredients for the cement mixer are pretty simple, so you shouldn't be too worried about that, including the mechanical parts. Now you know to go for office chairs. Now fertilizer, that's where I build my fertilizer now. It's got a very large crafting time, very large, but it's one of the cheaper ways to make it with no human turd. So fertilizer is key. Get your own cement mixer for fertilizer, and then like I'm circling here, all the cement mix is going to be your end game base material, and you'll want a separate cement mixer or two to do all of that. If we cancel all the fertilizer, you can see how quickly it blows through. So what's that, 2-3 cement per second? So the speed is actually pretty reasonable. The materials, stone and sand, pretty reasonable. If you've got a mine, you'll have plenty of stone, and you can craft sand from the stone, or just go to a desert. It's crazy quick, especially with an auger. These are the reinforced concrete blocks. That's what you're aiming for in game. Don't bother with steel. Steel will be too expensive, and really it's not that much of a benefit. Not if you've got a proper horde base where you take the exploits of the AI into consideration. Check out videos for those exploit bases actually. We've got some good videos coming out soon. But we flip over to the forge and how that relates. You've got to cook stone in the forge to get the concrete itself. And then you take the concretes and the stones and the sand to the cement mixer. And that's how you build the concrete mix. That's what you're going to need for upgrading your cobblestone into concrete, building concrete straight off the bat, all that sort of good stuff, okay? So that's why it's so important, and that's again what you want your bottom two blocks made out of. That's where the zombies are going to be hitting. It has to be concrete really going forward. Having a nice cinematic view of my base. Look at a lovely base. We'll fly through some of the blocks that you can build. There's a very large variety, so it gives you a lot of customizable options. But what I do is I build the steel rebar down, then reinforce that. And I'll tell you why now, and hopefully explaining it and doing the maths, you can make your own decision as to what's more beneficial. In the forge now, that's where you'll be able to build your rebar frames for a number of items. Your blocks, your corners, your ramps can be built out of rebar for 5 iron, 1 clay. Which if you're going mining, there's loads of iron available. This should be relatively cheap for you. I mean, look at my clay. Huge amounts. Now if we go back to the water and we have a little look, so this has cost 5 iron, 1 clay and 10 concrete mix. If we put the concrete block down, that's already 10 concrete mix, okay? If we upgrade it, that's going to be then 20 concrete mix for that one block, okay? Now we've come back, our reinforced ones repaired. The reinforced has 6,000 health, great. The normal concrete has 3,000. If we upgrade it, that's now 20 concrete mix, remember? But whilst it's wet, it has a health points of 1,500. Okay, you need to wait for it to dry for it to go up to 6,000. But that's the must. So make your own mind up. Use the steel rebars or don't. I would recommend doing it because concrete mix is far more costly than 5 iron for the rebar frame. Now hopefully you enjoyed this Jam Gaming video. We really appreciate the view, especially if you lasted this long. Please leave a like and a subscribe. We'd love more of your attention. Give our shorts and more videos a look. And let us know if you've got any ideas or what you want to see in the next few videos coming up. We'll check you on the next one. Much love, Jam Gaming.